Wayne's thinking. But if nothing changed, then I think you can pick a really, really competitive squad and 17 out of the players that he's chosen for this week. A very good team that should be competitive and able to get at least to the final.
Yeah, and the side that I picked, all the 17 were in this 35. Some of the 24 were outside of this 35, but all the 17 were in this 35.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be happy about if you're an England Rugby League fan looking at that squad. We can always pick at the edges, and we always do. We always have our favourite players and who we'd want to see. But I think there's a huge amount to be optimistic about ahead of this year's World Cup. I can't wait.
Yeah, the hope is everyone stays or gets fit, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the key.
And then Wayne will have some decisions to make, but then again, it seems like some of the players are just spurring each other on to great form in one way or another. I mean, and you'd start at the top with Sam Tompkins on that as the headline kind of thing. He's been the man of the match in all Catalan's 3 games so far.
I mean, obviously as an ex-Wigan player, I've never been his greatest fan, but I have to say, I think he must be the best player in the league at the moment. Controversial, I know, but I think at the moment he's on form. He's absolutely firing right now. He was brilliant again at the weekend, and he looks like not only the best English fullback in the league at the moment, but the best fullback in the league at the moment, and I think probably the best player in the league right now.
And we've got a couple of guys down under and in the pack, and I'm thinking Tom Burgess and Ryan Sutton in particular, who are just absolutely chomping up the meters. And Luke Thompson got back onto the NRL field as well at the weekend and was reportedly the best player in a bullshit side, but he was the one man who showed enthusiasm and attitude and energy in that side, according to our friends at This Week in League, who never liked to praise an Englishman. So, unless actually, I take that back. Glenn would praise the life out of Gareth Ellis, but yeah. So there's those signs that we've got that are really good, and if we can match them in that department, and we've got some talent in the other areas, then it's a World Cup to look forward to, like you say.
It really is. Can't wait.
Okay, let's move on. Castleford Tigers head coach Darryl Powell will succeed Steve Price at Warrington Wolves. What? When the Australian leaves the club at the end of the 2021 season. Both Powell, who's 55, and Price, who's 43, have already confirmed their respective departures, fueling speculation for this move ahead of it being confirmed. Powell will end an 8-year spell with his boyhood club to end the season and take up this 3-year deal with the Wire. Powell told Warrington's club website, "I'm looking forward to the challenge. Warrington is an outstanding club with a rich history, and the opportunity to coach the club from 2022 onwards is a very special one. My coaching philosophy is to support our players to achieve special things, and I think everyone knows and can see what I like to do with my players and teams. I feel like I'm moving from one special club to another. I think it's important to get out in the open now so I can focus on the year ahead, and there's certainty from both sides at this stage. Hopefully there'll be excitement at Warrington and an excitement at Castleford that I can finish off there in a really positive way this season."
So we've got some fan views on this, Mark. Carsten says, "This will prove if he's a good coach or a champion. With all the money Mr. M is putting in the Wire, Powell could make himself immortal or just another one who didn't get it done. Will 2022 be their year?"
Joshua's granddad said, "And no one saw that coming."
EFC, 78JU, "I am surprised that we've signed a replacement not long after the Price departure announcement, which was before we got beaten to the coach who is coming in the Wire in 2022. Darryl better had win some silverware, mostly the Super League Grand Final, to claim the trophy, and if we do not reclaim the Challenge Cup, we will look to do the double. It's our year."
Another Warrington fan, David Hunter, said, "Could this be a positive move from the Wire? We will wait and see. I hope that he can elevate them to the next level."
Lee Whitnall says, "Like most Wire fans, I have unrealistically high expectations, like most rugby league fans, actually, Lee, and was hoping for a proven winner and a disciplinarian to come in to fix the culture and drag the club to that elusive first grand final win. It has to be said that Powell doesn't quite fit the Bellamy, Bennett, Wayne or Vlad the Impaler mode that I was thinking of, but I do feel that he's a step in the right direction from Price. He's built some fabulous teams for Cass on fairly limited resources, and it's more bad luck than bad coaching that he doesn't have a Super League ring to show for his time there. Rob will have some words to say about that, I'm sure. It will be interesting to see what he can do with Maranovic's money to finally get him and us over the line. And it goes without saying that I'll put any reservations aside and back him 100%. As an aside, I feel bad for Hendo. He was brought in as assistant when his stock was high to be, I thought, the successor to Price. He's been tarnished by Price's perceived incompetence, and I assume he'll be out on his ear when Powell brings his own guys in. It's a good point, actually. I'd forgotten about Henderson.
Yeah, I sort of had it in my mind that Henderson would be one of the guys in the frame for the cast job, though. Looking at the other side of that, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. What I mean, it wasn't a big surprise, but we can talk about it a bit more now that it's been confirmed. So what do you make of this? Is it kind of one person who can't get it done on the big stage joining a group of people who can't get it done on the big stage?
Well, who knows?
Am I too harsh?
Yeah, I mean, well, no, not really, Mark. I mean, I think it's an interesting question to ask, isn't it? I mean, obviously Powell was very young when he was at Leeds. He's developed a lot of experience, since then. I think it's perfectly fair that Lee points out that he's done, I think, a really good job at Castleford without a huge amount of resources behind him, albeit that have they spent up to the salary cap? I think they have, haven't they?
Yeah, they will have done on some of the season at least.
But it's not, it's not always that easy to get the players you want to play at Castleford. So, with all the respect in the world to Cass fans, so I think he has done a good job at Castleford on the whole. When he got them to a grand final, they've been very competitive. They're going to be very competitive this year, I think, from what I've seen so far. So, can he go that one step further with the financial backing that there's absolutely no doubt that Moran brings in at Warrington? It's an open question. I don't think it's a shoo-in. So it's not. I don't think it's a guaranteed success for Moran and Warrington. But there's no doubt it'll be interesting rugby to watch, and I wish them all the best, but obviously I hope they don't win.
I think part of the bad luck that he's had isn't just the Zach Hardacre fuck up, but also he's almost had like year on year off in terms of what he's been able to do with injuries in the squad and that sort of thing. And I think at Warrington he should at least be able to afford a squad that has more depth. And maybe that might give him a chance to get over those humps at the end of the year, win that Challenge Cup final or that grand final that he personally hasn't been able to do. And see how that goes. So I think it's an interesting one. One thing's for certain, I think Warrington fans will see maybe a bit more of a consistently entertaining game plan than what they've had under Price. Whether that game plan does ultimately allow you to succeed at the end of things, I think we'll see, won't we? But
we'll wait and see. I think the other thing that he will do is he'll develop players So I think he's got the best out of some players at Castleford, including, McShane, who historically is, when he came from Leeds, he'd been sort of a bit up and down. I think he's got a huge amount out of McShane and really developed him into a top player. And I think he's got a lot out of, other great, people like Moore and so on and so on. I think he's done a good job, I think, coaching players. So I think if I was a Warrington player, I'd be quite looking forward to playing with Darryl Powell because I think he'll help to develop the skill base.
Yep. Other news coming out of Castleford over the last week, which had been rumoured and now is confirmed, is that Castleford have confirmed that John Wells will step down from his role as Director of Rugby next month. Wells, who has been with the Tigers since March 2018, gave his period of notice at the end of last month, and he will remain a pundit on Sky Sports. And Wells' final day in his role with Cass will be on May the 30th. We had a couple of fan views on this one.
Yeah, Tom Andrews says, seems HMS pissed the league, picking up Fat Boy Rob's phrase, has sprung a leak in the captain's quarters.
And on the nautical theme, Karsten said something about rats and leaving the ship.
And I'm not quite sure what to make of this one, to be quite honest. I'm assuming that John Wells has got some other things in line other than just working for Sky Sports on a weekly basis. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't imagine he doesn't have business interests outside of the sport, or maybe a different way of working within the sport that he's got planned, because he can't, full-time Sky Sports isn't going to cut it, I don't think, for John Wells. But Castleford fans don't really know what John Wells has done in 3 years at Castleford, and I think that's kind of the legacy of his time there, is no one's really sure what he's really done, and no one's saying he's done a bad job, but no one understands what his job was, what his targets were, whether he's delivered against those things. It's hard to tell, I think, for a lot of people looking from the outside in.
It's not like Premier League football, where you have seen the role of the football manager develop, quite independently from the sort of the day-to-day coaching of the team. Someone looking after recruitment and all of those sorts of things. I'm not sure that that the sport is big enough at this point in time anyway to warrant that sort of separate role. So I can understand why people maybe don't see the value of it, and maybe that's just the conclusion they've reached, is look, there's just not enough in this.
Possibly, or maybe, if the club's going in a different direction from next year, it might be worth clearing the decks completely, as well. And Wells has kind of seen that the writing on the wall for that potentially and stepped down. So interesting to see. It'll make his Sky role easier because he won't get criticism for doing perfectly good analysis on a Castleford game, but getting criticised for it because it's a Castleford game.
So in other news, England standoff Johnny Lomax has extended his contract at St Helens. Whoopee! Until the end of the 2024 season. The 30-year-old has been with Saints, I can't believe he's 30, has been with Saints since joining the academy as a schoolboy and has made 242 appearances, scoring 11 tries since his 2009 debut. Surely he scored more than 11 tries. That doesn't seem right. Anyway, Lomax...
wherever I've copied and pasted that from isn't right, is it?
That's bollocks.
Yeah.
Lomax has won 2 grand finals with Saints.
Blame the BBC.
Yeah, there you go. It's probably 111 tries. Has won 2 grand finals with Saints and become a regular with England, playing in the 2017 World Cup final defeat by Australia. Like you, Mark, I think he's not played his best for England yet. I'm hoping it'll come this year in the World Cup. Let's all hope so. I'm delighted that Johnny's staying at Saints. He's been our best player this year so far, and has been right up alongside James Roby over the last few years. for Saints. Remember watching him on his debut on the wing, playing in the